separate internal from external movement?
Okay, Dana was
I
taking
want
notes,
to write
right?
this down.
Okay, very good. So what separates external from internal? As an external movement, that means that I'll wait till Roger gets back. Okay. So Bob can record this and we can, put it eventually on the WhatsApp group and also put it on the website. Always good for reviewing because it'll represent something different to you over time if you listen to it from time to time. What separates from external practice to an internal practice? In the external practice, the energy is not connecting with Earth's energy. It stays on the surface. And yes, you could be moving slowly. Yes, you could be practicing. But because you don't have the mindset of what represents the internal, then you're just moving more physically, be it slow. And the energy doesn't flow. In the external practice, the mind is usually occupied. You could be relaxed, but because you're not mindful of a empty mind, you could be thinking about lunch, you could be thinking about what you're going to do for the day, and that's okay too, but you're limited to that external practice, okay? In the external practice, normally the arms are doing a lot of the movement. You're separated from the unit, okay? So if I'm doing, let's say, brush knee, my arms are guiding the movement. If I'm doing ward off, the arms are moving, then the body follows. That becomes external practice. In the internal practice, you learn everything is moving as one unit. You're constantly training your low qua. That connects the energy from top to bottom. In the internal practice, the bottom of your feet, very tingling. Tingling, T means that you're very gentle. 一语不能加, like a feather that drops from air and falls down. Does it have any pressure when it's falling? When it lands, does it pushes? It doesn't. It lands very gently. That's how we do the practice. When we move, we let gravity, alignment, pressure release through the bubbling spring or Yongqun. That's internal system. We have pressing, releasing. Anytime we go from left leg to right leg to left, in how we move, like meditation walking, we're always like a feather. That's internal system practice, right? When you're practicing in the park, someone says, "Hey, T, how you doing? Good morning." You keep practicing. You don't say hi. It's not being rude. People will know over time that when you're practicing, you're in the present moment. You focus on the energy. Because once your mind says, "Oh, how you doing?" Now you just separated. You broke the flow and the chain of energy and how it flows. So that's another important part of it as well. So another important part of the internal system practice is sticking. Now, where do we learn sticking in the internal system training when we're doing solo practice? Do you know, T? Who is your friend when you're practicing in solo training? Because I'm not always with somebody. I got to practice on my own. Who is my friend, figuratively speaking, when I'm practicing solo?
The earth.
Exactly, the ground. Very good answer. That's the correct answer. that means that my feet, if I press, now I separate from the ground. If I'm mindful of walking like a cat, landing like a feather, now my energy will know how to stick with the ground because I'm constantly connecting. And when I'm constantly connecting, because it's done as an internal system practice, what happens to my release? What happens to my song? It gets deeper and deeper. That means that the benefits are enormous. I'm constantly releasing any tension or stress I may have because I want to stay connected to the ground all the times. Whenever I need a release, which is all the time, that means you get familiar, you get comfortable, you're always connected to the ground. That's internal system movement. You do that all the time, not just in practice. Once you understand meditation walking in a more refined way, once you understand the Tai Chi form, in your everyday walking, you're also walking with connection to the earth. Because why? You're not falling no more. Just about 99% of how people walk, they're always falling. So they put one foot forward to not fall, and then the cycle continues. But in meditation walking, what happens to our energy? It doesn't go forward. What does it do, T?
Well, it connects.
It goes down and it goes up.
Yeah, it connects with the earth and rebounds.
Yes.
as you say.
That's how we teach how to walk the stairs, right? If you walk the regular stairs, you're actually falling. You're putting another leg forward to prevent from falling. But we don't teach that here at Armbridge. We teach walking the stairs, and regular walking is you put energy down, energy goes up. And that's how we walk. In the beginning, you have to get used to it and untrain how you regularly walk. But we don't walk that way here at Armbridge. We walk like meditation walking. Energy goes down, energy goes up. So this way, you're always flowing with one continuous energy. So all those elements, all those descriptions, Roger, that represents internal. And if you have a chart, which I think people have posted from time to time, all those acronyms represent internal system. That's what it is. Remember I said internal system is like a puzzle. You have many different pieces. When you put it all together, now they need to fit. So you have to try to fit the pieces together. But it's a lot. You can't focus all at one time. So what do? You work on one of them. And then once that becomes comfortable, then you don't need to think about it no more because you're doing it second nature. Then you get another piece. And it's going to fit with the piece that you have do already. Because all the pieces, they fit. And once all the pieces become like the 50 pieces as an example, once they all fit as a puzzle, now the practice becomes that whole puzzle. And the more the puzzle becomes connected and you do it every time like that, later on, would you need to think about it? No. See, T, you're a hiker, right? Think about those people that climb incredible mountains, right? They're doing all the principles already. They don't have to think about it because they've been their experience. Imagine you're hiking, right? When you're teaching somebody, you have to start very slow. You have to think, you have to do it this way. How you have to do all those things. But you do it over and over and over again, then you don't think about it no more because the movements become the principle. That's how it works, Roger. And we verify it by not just in solo training, by doing the 2-person partner drills, also known as push hands. And unfortunately, as I said before, over and over again, for much of the people that do push hands and it gets very aggressive, and there's force, there's resistance, there's tension, then they're not cultivating the internal system of how to do it correctly. And unfortunately, when you have habits that go on for years, then it's hard to sometimes unlearn that, especially if you keep fostering it in that way. But if you learn the internal movements internally and you get into push hands, you can play with anybody. It doesn't matter what level they are because you're soft. You're not afraid because you always says, 欢迎光临, welcome to my house. I'm soft. I'm free. I have one continuous energy. If you come to me at 5 miles an hour, I can hear your energy. If you come to me at 50 miles an hour, I can still hear your energy. Where do I take it, Roger?
Down to the earth.
It goes to my center. It goes to the earth. I don't even take it to the earth because once I touch you, I'm already in my center. That's the way it works. That's how it's done. But in the beginning, you need to learn it that way or unlearn it. And when somebody knows more than you, you need to invest in the loss and let them keep on moving you the right way and you keep on getting off. Eventually, you learn to free yourself to be one continuous energy. And when that happens, the movements become internal. Once it becomes internal, not only is your mind is quiet, everything always goes to your center. That's why they call it, your Zhongding. Everything is guided from there. And once it's guided from your center, it always knows how to go to earth. That's the practice. That's what we're doing here. But of course, we practice not for sports. We don't practice to overcome somebody. We practice because we're doing it for good health. That's why we practice it. And then you start to understand the qualities that it represents of why we do it. Okay. So that's a long answer, Roger, but you can always go back to listen to it. And thank you, Bob, for recording it, putting it on the WhatsApp group, and we'll put it on the website one of these days.